The following is a special presentation on TNN, the Nashville Network.
On a hot August night last year, Kenny Koretsky stepped to the plate. Bottom of the ninth, 2 out. The NASCAR All-Stars held a 1-run lead, 20-19. Kenny's teammates from the NHRA trusted he could drive in the 2 men on base. And the packed crowd at the Reading, Pennsylvania Stadium waited for the conclusion to a never-to-be-forgotten evening. There had been a spontaneous outpouring of affection and support for this man, Darrell Gwynn, critically injured 8 months earlier in a devastating Top Fuel dragster crash in England. Accompanied by his fiancée, Lisa Hurst, Gwynn received an ovation reserved for a champion, for he had become just that, battling the odds, emerging as a winner of a different kind. That night, Darrell Gwynn came home to motorsports, and we all welcomed him back. To help defray Darrell's huge medical expenses, the NASCAR drivers dressed in blue, and Darrell's NHRA cohort staged a benefit softball game. And after the ceremonial first ball had been thrown in, well, it soon became clear that winning was considered the proper form of the affair. For drag racing fans, Dan Pastorini declared the intentions of the 1320-foot crowd with a booming home run. But the celebration was short-lived. The team in red knew they had to stop the bats of those who turn left for a living. The next 9 innings were, surprisingly, filled with some of the best ball ever played in those parts. Sports Illustrated's Sam Moses claimed it was the greatest confrontation on a ball diamond he had ever witnessed. The sellout crowd spent more time on its feet than in their seats. The lead assumed the appearance of a teeter-totter. Whoever was batting led. Hit for hit, score for score. Both teams intent on capturing that first ever championship. But all was not offense. Teamwork played a critical role in defense as well. Watch the manner in which this Don Prudhomme pop fly was handled by NASCAR's version of Tinker, Evers, and Chance. It may not have been pretty, but it worked. Then, perhaps remembering Pastorini's opening shot, Michael Waltrip hit a towering home run with the bases loaded. It looked as though NASCAR would carry the day. Taking into account all that had preceded that moment, what must Koretsky have been considering as he waited for the final pitch of the game from NASCAR's Ernie Irvan? Obviously, he was considering how to win the game. NHRA 21, NASCAR 20. A real heart-stopper that set up this evening's rematch of the All-Stars of Speed.
Right now I'm not starting, but we'll get in on the 3rd inning, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we can beat them.
It's our turn to win this time. We got to organize this time. We got something for them.
I think it'll be there in the pitching. I think it'll be there in the infield area.
We enjoy this. We've taken a lot of ribbing about it over the last year, and we actually got together and practiced. We even got shoes. I think we're going to be tough tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they've got their guns loaded, but I think we're ready, and we want to put them out early out of their misery and get a good lead, and then they won't have to suffer so much.
We practiced up Dover probably about an hour and a half, and we didn't do it last year. We just showed up and put some. We didn't have no cleats half. I was so I went and drug some out by 4th inning, and we're gonna get them this time.
John Force, you're playing second base. You get a NASCAR driver on your base. What do you say to him?
Well, you just give him a big old kiss and tell him you love him and keep him safe. That's what they told me to say. That's what Coach Dallas Gardner told me to say all night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Knight Stadium, just on the outskirts of Charlotte. You're about to see some of America's best athletes compete on what is a very different playing field. Their field of dreams are asphalt, straight-lined or with left-hand corners. But the best of NHRA is about to square off against the best of NASCAR on the softball diamond. 1 year ago, the NHRA eked out a one-run victory. And with those defending champions, the host of NHRA Today, Steve Evans.
Folks, you are looking at the quickest men and women in all of motorsports. NHRA championship drag racers. They can cut a reaction time to 1/100 of a second. But can they put a bat on a ball tonight? Can they turn left on the base pass? To answer that question, the president of NHRA, more importantly tonight, Coach Dallas Gardner. Rate your squad.
This squad is a little bit different than last year's team. Last year's team, we had some big bashers out there. We had Dan Pastorini. This squad is probably a much better baseball team. I think if they play within their abilities, and I'm very confident they will, you're going to see a very fine baseball team out here.
And your starting pitcher will be?
We'll be down the Snake for Dome.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, for the NASCAR story, the other side of the diamond, my pal, Glenn Jarrett.
Okay, this is the crew that's going to confront those NHRA stars. Last year, you know, they had a one-run victory in the bottom of the 9th inning. These guys are out for revenge this year. They think that they can do it. They've been practicing awfully hard. They've got a great coach here tonight. Normally, I would introduce this guy as the vice president of competition, but tonight, Les Richter, you're just known as coach.
Well, this is a game that has a little sentiment in it from our standpoint. Last year, we probably didn't talk the rules over well enough, and we think that there are some things that we hope will be different tonight, but it's going to be a good game, and we're out there to win tonight.
Well, I have one question. What's it going to be like to have all these guys finally, one time during the year, listening to what you say?
Oh, I hope they're listening, because we said it'll be a long inspection line if they don't.
Okay, that's a big threat. Let's go back to Mike Joy.
Thank you, Glenn. Also working with us is one of the all-time fan favorites, so we put him up with the fans tonight. Here's NASCAR great Neil Bonnet.
Thank you, Mike. I'm up here just roaming around the grandstands, and I met a couple of fans that roam around also. And this guy sitting in this shirt he's got on, it's not hard to figure who he's pulling for. What do you think the guys are going to do?
Oh, you know, they're going to beat them real bad. They're going to skunk them.
You thinking the NASCAR guys are going to jump on them?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, while he's saying definitely, this guy over here wants to argue about it. He thinks that the drag race guy's got a shot at it.
And we always do it quicker and faster. NHRA drag racing all the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, last year you guys won the thing, but it got closer at the end, and maybe they'll give these stock car guys a little bit of chance tonight.
We're in NASCAR country, but NHRA will always come out on top.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see who comes out on top on the field. We'll roam in the stands and see what we can find up here for you, Mike.
Thank you, Neil. It's a rematch, it's a grudge match, and it's about to get underway. The All-Stars of Speed, stay with us.
Brought to you by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man.
Could you set fire to your car, burn it with acid, spray it with paint, then wipe away the burn, buff off the acid, and polish off the paint? Can this be magic? Yes, the magic of DD Auto from the makers of DD7. Others have made these claims, but we guarantee DD Auto to be the finest, the easiest car polish you will ever use, or your money back. Even bird droppings, tar, and grease wipe away with ease. Cleaning chrome was never this easy. And DD Auto brings back the vibrance to the oldest paintwork. Use DD Auto in the home to protect mirrors, brass, and bathroom tiles. You'll save money when you replace all these with DD Auto. Yours on this special television offer for $19.95. And we'll include a second bottle free. But there's more. The vinyl roof, leather and vinyl seats, dash and tires will gleam with just a touch of DD Auto vinyl and leather enhancer. Also yours at no additional charge. And to keep that shine dry and streak-free, this super absorbent chamois is also yours. The DD Auto Car Care Kit, 2 polish, the vinyl leather enhancer, and super chamois, all for $19.95. Have your credit card ready. Here's how to order.
Have your credit card ready and call 1-800-257-0800. You can also save COD charges by sending $19.95 for the complete kit, plus $4.95 shipping to DD Auto, P.O. Box 10030, Stamford, Connecticut.
Just a few moments ago, Darrell Gwynn threw out the first ball with a roaring approval of this huge expectant crowd.
Darrell, it hardly seems like a year since we met in Reading for the first annual softball challenge, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does, and there's been a A lot of things happened in that year, a lot of good things. There's been some bad things in motorsports, but it's nights and days like these right here that help us get through all those tough times. And I think we're going to have a good time here tonight that benefits the Miami Project and the J.D. McDuffie Fund. And I think we're all going to come out of here winners. Me and you, everybody here. This means a lot for me. Helps turn the bad days into good days for me. I think something like this.
Well, this whole affair is being held to help turn bad days into good days, and you can join us in contributing to the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis and or the J.D. McDuffie Memorial Fund. We'll repeat these addresses and phone numbers later, so get a pencil and paper ready. TNN has already sent its check for $10,000 to broadcast tonight's game. To the charities, and all of the people involved in the telecast have donated their time and expertise. Here's how the NASCAR team will take the field, and Glenn Jarrett is in their dugout.
Well, Mike, you know, the guys are real excited about the game this year. This is the fielding lineup you see right here. Last year, the premium was on hitting. The guys have been working real hard on their fielding. As they said up at Dover, they practiced very long, very hard. Let's see if it didn't pay off for them, if they can do a little better job fielding this time.
The leadoff hitter will be Kenny Bernstein, who helped organize this fundraiser. And we'll have a look at the NHRA lineup. Steve Evans on their side of the field.
Well, Mike, NHRA has lost a little of the SWAT from last year. Scott Coletta and Mark Oswald unable to be here tonight. And Dan Pastorini, who hit a home run a year ago, did not race this season, so is ineligible.
First pitch from Ernie Irvin, a called strike.
More on the NHRA hitting side, though, Mike. They have some new young players, some drivers who have debuted this year, such as Pat Austin, just 26 years of age. Big, strong kid. Should be interesting to watch.
0-1 delivery. Bernstein lets it go for a ball. 1-1.
Maybe only Kenny Bernstein could have pulled off this whole project because he owns teams in both NHRA and NASCAR.
Shot down the third base line. Brett Bodine, Bernstein's NASCAR driver with the throw. Davey Allison can't handle it. And Bernstein will take second.
Well, it doesn't look like the fielding has paid off yet. That was a pretty tough chance for Brett, but he's got to have a little more arm to get that thing down the first in time, Mike.
Well, he robbed Bernstein last year of a sure double. Maybe a little job security on that play.
I started to say he didn't want to throw his boss out there.
And here is Ernie Irvin pitching to Pat Austin. Pat ran his first ever pro drag race just this past Labor Day weekend. Who did he meet in the Top Fuel final? That man right there, Kenny Bernstein. Now Bernstein cheering for Austin. He wasn't that day.
Well, they're on the same team now. 1-1, a ball and a called strike to Pat Austin. Irvin delivers. Again, a hard shot to third. Easy chance for Bodine. The throw is straight, but late.
Well, Brett's not having any problem fielding, Mike. He just needs to work on his arm a little bit. Once again there, he's just not getting rid of the ball quick enough.
Bernstein moves over to third. Austin on first.
Well, Coach Gardner has loaded the top of his order with his younger players. We just saw Pat Austin. Now up is Richard Hartman. He's just 22, and following Hartman will be Tommy Johnson Jr., also 22 years of age. But first, Richard Hartman from California, funny car driver.
Irvin still trying to get the first out of the inning. That pitch is inside for a ball. 1-0 to Hartman. That'll be a strike to the approval of the crowd.
You can see it in the eyes of Ernie Irvin. He remembers that last pitch last year.
Irvin, the losing pitcher. Hartman strokes one right through the hole between short and third. Michael Waltrip fields it and throws, but too late to prevent Bernstein and Austin from scoring. 2-0 NHRA.
Mike's kind of hard to believe that a ball hit through the hole between short and third rolled all the way to the fence without one of the fielders getting to it first.
Well, 4 outfielders, but that was a good hard shot, and Hartman stands at third with a triple.
And next to the plate for NHRA is Tommy Johnson Jr. Now, Tommy drives a Top Fuel car, but he wants to be a stock car racer and has been going to the Buck Baker School at Rockingham.
Well, if he really wants to make friends in NASCAR, he can make an out here, Steve.
I don't think he's that desperate.
1-0, the count to Johnson. See the infield playing way in with Hartman at third. And that one bounces off the dirt in front of home plate, 2-0.
You know, another reason they might be playing is because they can't throw the ball to first base in time to get the guys out.
2-1 the count. Johnson hasn't had the bat off his shoulder.
Well, the NHRA drivers are showing a lot more restraint this year, letting the good pitches come their way, and there's one.
Fly to left field. Sterling Marlin makes the catch, Hartman tags and scores 3-0.
Well, it was a good play by Marlin, but it's pretty tough to throw a guy out tagging up at third base in softball, Mike. Base distance is only 60 feet. Hard to do that.
Steve, what's the acceleration 0 to 60 feet for these drag racers?
About a millisecond.
But that's with 4 wheels instead of 2 cleats.
All right, here is Jim Head, and Head is a tremendously coordinated man. You better be when your hobby is aerobatics. You just don't make any mistakes up there, hand-eye.
Well, he takes a strike from Ernie Irvin. Irvin's been getting the ball to the plate, but the NHRA drag racers have been stroking it, and here's Jim Head putting one between second and short for a single. Mike Waltrip runs it in.
He had a line shot that time right off the glove of Chad Little. Maybe Chad was playing in a little too close that time. NASCAR's having a little hard time adjusting right now to exactly where they need to be in the field.
And here is some power in the NHRA lineup. This is Big John Force, brute force. Last year he was the catcher, but he heckled the NASCAR drivers so badly, Coach Gardner has moved him to second base.
Yeah, I think he was afraid someone was going to hit him in the back of the head with a bat.
Little dribbler down the third base line. Brett Bodine is up with it, but has no chance to make the play. So Head moves to second, and Force is on at first.
Tough chance for Brett that time, Mike. A little slow dribbler like that. He chased the ball down, but not a chance at all to throw him out to first base.
Well, there's Jim Teller, one of the NHRA coaches, signaling to the guys base running. There's just 1 out left. Teller knows what he's doing, a former pro ball player himself, a big asset to this squad.
Jim Murphy, center fielder for NHRA, is at the plate. That'll go right to shortstop. Chad Little picks it up, fires, 2 down.
Well, Jim Murphy drives a funny car called Holy Smokes. He wishes he'd had a little more smoke on that bat.
You know, I wonder if the guys on the right side of the infield for NASCAR are going to go to sleep. Every ball so far has been hit to the left side.
Just flirting with that left side line, and so many balls have barely been fair.
On the fielder's choice, Jim Head moves to third and John Force to second. Here is Frank Hawley.
Frank Hawley, the man handpicked by Darrell Gwynn to fill the seat in his race car after the accident in England. He's done a tremendous job. Trying to drive in a run now, though.
That'll be a strike. Jim Head at third, John Force on second. 2 down.
That was a tough pitch to hit, Mike. Ernie put perfect arch on that pitch.
But Hawley strokes this one down the third base line, fair. Head scores. Force comes around. And Hawley on the throw-in will get a stand-up double.
And the score, NHRA 5, NASCAR 0. Of course, the NASCAR guys haven't batted yet. That may change soon.
Frank Hawley at second base, and Freddie Neely, the right fielder, is up.
Neely does not have a whole lot of power, but if he can just get the bat on the ball, he's very quick. He can run out anything decent.
Now watch Jimmy Spencer, the NASCAR catcher. Every strike, he is taunting the hitters. Little dribbler to the mound. Irvin fields it, throws to Allison, and it gets away.
And there you saw the speed of Freddie Neely, and Hawley scores 6-zip.
And obviously, the practice that NASCAR did was not near enough for their fielding.
They had batting practice. Did they have fielding practice?
Evidently not. They all concentrated on hitting.
Here's another look. Irvin has to rush from the mound to get this one. A little off balance as he throws to Davey Allison. Here comes Neely. And Allison gets dragged off the base, but without the ball. Don the Snake Prudhomme. The NHRA pitcher takes a strike. And Irvin is ahead on the count, 0-1. Neely at second. And Prudhomme tomahawks this one. It rolls to Brett Bodine, who makes the play. 6-0 NHRA, half an inning played. Steve is with Dallas Gardner.
Now they say the first inning is the toughest. I didn't see any butterflies out there, and that was 6 runs.
These guys are loose. They're loose, and they're playing within their capabilities. You know, you saw one fly ball, but otherwise they're going to hit the ball on the ground. They're going to hit line drives. They're going to run the base as well, and I was proud of that inning. I liked it.
It's a big lead for NHRA. 6, NASCAR coming to the plate. One of the big highlights of the evening occurred during the pregame. After each team took the field for practice, all of the drivers and many of the fans came down on the field for a huge Meet the Drivers and autograph session.
Brett Bodine is expecting a rush. He signed about 50 pictures in advance. You love this kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, it's great. You know, all the fans turned out for autographs and the ball game. It's nice to get to see everybody in person during the autograph session, and I'm looking forward to a great night.
Kenny, the most important people here tonight in many ways are the fans.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what keeps us all going on the racetrack, and it's certainly what's going to keep us going tonight. It's their night. It's for them as well as it's for us and for the Miami Project and J.D. McDuffie's family.
You know, Harry, it's wonderful to know that these people, they care about you not just on the racetrack, but in an endeavor like this as well.
Yeah, they've turned out here great, and we hope to play some ball tonight and be able to win, and give them something to cheer for.
Oh, we really enjoy it. I think these Winston Cup boys see this a lot more than the NHRA people, but it's a lot of fun. It makes it all worth it.
Different surroundings, same great fans.
Oh, yeah, the fans are everywhere. There's a bunch of them that showed up tonight, and they all got all kinds of stuff to bring, different things that are very important to them, pictures, postcards, T-shirts, stuff like that.
Even softballs.
Yeah, even softballs, a little bit of everything.
In the bottom of the first, NASCAR picked up a run, Chad Little singling in Derek Cope. But in the top of the second, NHRA put 4 more on the board, 2 on Tommy Johnson's double.
So as we go into the bottom of the second, this is how the NHRA playing field looks. A lot of youth and strong arms in the outfield. And NASCAR brings Davey Allison to the plate, the first baseman, to lead off the second.
Yeah, Davey's a heck of an athlete, Mike, and he's really looking forward to this game. We're real excited beforehand. You see him highlighted in the order there. Following him will be Rick Maston and Jimmy Spencer. Spencer, a heck of a ball player in his own right also.
Bottom third of the order. Prudhomme delivers. And that's inside for a ball.
Before last year's game, Don Prudhomme hired a softball coach. After he got through this race car work at the shop, they would meet in the park in Granada Hills, California, and pitch hundreds and hundreds of balls. And he's trying to keep the ball up high so that Davey cannot tee off on it and get it out of here.
1-1 pitch. Way inside. 2-1.
Now, the ball can be as high as 14 feet, right, Glenn?
Yeah, as long as it falls down through the strike zone, that's the main thing.
And Davey gets good wood on the ball. But Pat Austin is there. Allison pops up and out. Here's Neil Bonnet.
Thank you, guys. Let me tell you what. We got every kind of fan you can think of. We got stock car, drag racing, and then we got all sizes and shapes. We got this big guy here with this little bitty one right here. And I asked him, I said, who are you pulling for? And you tell me again.
Hey, we got them both covered, Neil.
This guy, little guy right here, has got a drag race shirt on, and he's got him a Skull Bandit hat on. I believe you have got him covered, haven't you?
We sure have.
He told me you think race cars are a handful. You need to take care of this little kid at a ball game. But it looks like they're having a ball. Back to you guys.
Jimmy Spencer singles to left field, giving NASCAR a runner on. They trail 10-1.
Spencer's doing exactly what NASCAR has to do right now, Mike, and that's hit line drives.
If you are going to hit the ball high into the outfield, you better hit it a long ways. Rick Mass almost takes Prudhomme's head off. The ball goes to center field, and here comes Spencer, steaming into third and going all the way. Heads-up base running by Jimmy Spencer. He saw the ball kept getting bobbled out in the field and just kept on coming. Let's go down to the NASCAR dugout and check in with Glenn Jarrett.
Davey Allison, long fly ball to center field, though, but that's kind of like leading a race for 490 miles and blowing up at the end.
Yeah, I just didn't get good metal on the ball then, Glenn. I swung it a little bit high, and I should have waited for the ball to come down a little bit before I swung, but, I was going for it to see if I could get a base hit. That's the way it goes. We just got to work these guys better in the infield, get some guys out on the other side over there. They're putting a whooping on us right now.
Looks like you played a little softball before.
Yeah, I played a little bit in a league a couple years ago, and, I know what to do. It's just being able to do it that's the key. Being out there in them race cars for a few years, kind of taking some of it away.
Ernie Irvin flies to Johnson in left, and the throw-in will hold Rick Mast at first base.
Again, you've got to give Don Prudhomme a lot of credit here. His pitching is excellent. Even though you're not trying to throw 100-mile-an-hour fastballs or screwballs or sinkers, there's still a lot of art to this.
Brett Bodine steps away from the plate and nails one off Kenny Bernstein's glove. Mast moves over to second base, and Brett Bodine on first.
Brett hit a pitch that was out of the strike zone then, Mike, but he just liked it. It was right there where he felt he could get a good bat on it, and he did.
Derek Cope, who played minor league baseball, gets Goodwood on the ball past Bernstein. Here comes Rick Mast to score.
It really looked like Mast touched home plate there when he went by.
You want to call him back to third?
Oh, no. Let's just leave things as they are. He just nudged it.
Okay. Brett Bodine is at second, and Dale Jarrett strides to the plate. Now, he's played some ball, huh?
Yeah, this guy can really play. He had a great teacher.
His older brother?
Oh, yeah, he's a super player.
How do we guess? I don't know. There's a big sky hook from Don Prudhomme, and that's a ball.
Yeah, he knew better than to mess with anything like that. Prudhomme's going to have to throw him a strike.
Bodine is at second, Derek Cope at first, Dale Jarrett the batter. Good eye and a good stroke. That'll bring Bodine around third and home.
Just like you told him how to do it, right, Glenn?
That's exactly right, Steve. We used to spend hours and hours and hours out in the backyard playing baseball, and I taught him everything he knows. Too bad he didn't teach me anything about driving.
Very little. What is Jim Head talking to Mike Waltrip about?
He's trying to figure out where the bill to Mike's cap went, I think. Mike Waltrip, everything in life he does just a little bit differently.
I think Mike's asking Jim how much he's going to have to pay him to get Prudhomme to throw him a good pitch.
Boy, Prudhomme has kept that ball up there. He's hard to hit.
I thought the catcher was supposed to wear his hat backwards, not the hitter. Boom, and Mike Waltrip gets very little on this one. It goes to shortstop and over to first and into the dugout. Derek Cope heads on home, and Mike Waltrip will lope into third.
Exactly what the NASCAR team needed. A little bit of luck, a few errors on the NHRA side to get some runs across the plate.
High five from Coach Rick Wilson at third for Mike Waltrip, and it brings Chad Little to the plate.
Once again, the NASCAR guys hitting the ball on the ground, making the NHRA guys play the ball, stand a better chance of getting on base.
This one goes up in the air, and it's through Pat Austin. Mike Waltrip stops on home plate. Here's the throw in to hold the runners.
NHRA may be forcing it a bit out in the field. They had such early success at the plate. They need to back it up with the gloves.
Jimmy Means coaching first, giving little instruction, and Sterling Marlin strides to the plate. Marlin gets it up in the air, and it drops in for a Texas leaguer. Pat Austin fields it. Here comes Chad Little. He is out at third.
Well, Chad took an awful chance there. I can't believe that the third base coach had him to come in. I think Chad did that on his own.
Pat Austin and Kenny Bernstein saved the inning for NHRA. Let's look at it again.
Well, Mike, when Chad rounded second base, he didn't even hesitate. He was digging for third, but the throw was right there. It wasn't even close. He was out all the way.
So at the end of 2, NHRA 10, NASCAR closes to within 3 runs.
Man, I could use a vacation.
Join Rusty Wallace for the ultimate vacation. Enter the Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes and win a week-long all-expense-paid cruise to the Caribbean aboard the Norwegian Cruise Line Seaward, or one of hundreds of other prizes. To enter, call 1-900-2884-TNN. Calls cost 95 cents per minute, or send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to this address. You must be 21 or older to win. Telephone entry deadline October 28th. Postcard deadline October 30th.
See you in the Caribbean.
Winners announced November 10th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
We used to make almost everything here in the USA. Then imports started taking a toll. Now America's manufacturers are fighting back, producing the quality you demand at the price you want. It's a whole new spirit of partnership between the maker and the seller. So why not buy American whenever you can? In the world's freest marketplace, your choices make all the difference.
Bring back the best today. Bring it home to the USA.
The 34 Classic Street Rod. It's hot, available, very affordable, fun to drive, easy to assemble. Call 1-800-CLASSIC. For more information on this special offering of the 34 Classic Street Rod and other timeless classics from Classic Motor Carriages. Call now 1-800-CLASSIC. Capture the romantic age of motoring with the Classic Gazelle. Classic Motor Carriages recreates the vintage 1929 Mercedes-Benz SSK. Build your dream today with the affordable Classic Gazelle. Call 1-800-CLASSIC. For more information on this special offering of the Classic Gazelle and other timeless classics from Classic Motor Carriages, call now 1-800-CLASSIC.
Welcome back to Charlotte Knight Stadium. Mike Joy with Steve Evans and Glenn Jarrett. Neil Bonnet up in the stands. NHRA versus NASCAR, all for a great couple of causes. The Miami Project to cure paralysis. Race drivers like Darrell Gwynn, Brad Doty, SCCA racer Bob Roth, and many more folks across the country benefiting from this research. And your contribution would be very welcome to the Miami Project or to the J.D. McDuffie Fund. In the top of the third with one out and a runner on, NHRA will face a new NASCAR pitcher, Jeff Bodine.
And Jeff Bodine in. Coach Richter hopes he can keep the ball higher. Ernie was starting to flatten out a little bit. They need the directions to hit the ball in the air, right, Glenn Jarrett?
That's exactly right. Ernie's pitching had gotten a little flat, allowing the drag guys to tee off on him, see if Jeff can put the fire out.
Kenny Bernstein on first base. Richard Hartman, driver of the Ray Bestis Bunny car.
Hits a fly ball to left field, and it's over the head of Ernie Irvin. Here comes Bernstein to score. And that run will be charged to Irvin.
And as it well should be, he should have caught that ball.
I mean,
Jeff did his job.
And Ernie had a good view of all of that, too. He is now in the outfield. They don't want to lose his bat.
Now, he's the rover. The ball went over his head. Sterling Marlin played it off the fence. And Tommy Johnson Jr. comes to the plate.
Tommy Johnson from Ottumwa, Iowa, and he has had a very, very good night, both at the plate and in the outfield. On third base, another of the youngsters, 22-year-old Richard Hartman.
You can see the arc that Bodine puts on the ball. That makes it tougher to hit.
Johnson gets it up in the air, but it drops in center field before Mike Waltrip hauls it in and throws into Derek Cope. Johnson on first, scoring Hartman.
Dallas Gardner, the coach of the NHRA squad, is a real student of baseball, and he's told the guys with the new pitcher, don't swing too hard at that ball. If you're going to hit it in the air, let's just try to drop it in, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, the key to softball is hitting line drives.
Jim Head gets the ball way up in the air. Waltrip tracks this one down and makes the out.
Well, that's exactly what Bodine is trying to do, to make those guys pop the ball up.
Here's our man in the stands, Neil Bonnet.
Thank you, guys. I'm still roaming around and still finding nice little friends to talk to up here. Who are you pulling for? Who is that out there? John Forrest? Yep. You just told me Harry again. You change your mind?
John Forrest is my funny car driver.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's changed on me twice. When I got here, it was Harry Gant, but everybody's pulling for Harry now. And now he's over to John Forrest, and I don't blame you. Forrest wins a lot of them. Back to you guys.
Neil, you may have to explain to these drag racing fans what pulling for them means.
And here's NASCAR's cheerleading team, the Hooters girls. Don't they look great?
Don't have to explain this to anybody.
If anything will distract John Forrest, that's it.
Here's Forrest at the plate. And he sends that one out in right field. That's the first ball hit to the right side tonight. Maybe Forrest was looking down the first base line. Tommy Johnson scores. Let's go to the NHRA dugout.
Snake, is there such a thing as mixing your pitches up in this kind of softball?
I think so, especially with these big guys. Man, they can hit. And, you know, and you just can't give them anything or they'll knock it over the fence. They're big boys.
Don Prudhomme looking on as his team tries to protect their lead.
NHRA not lacking for size when this man comes to the plate from Northern California. Funny car driver Jim Murphy. In practice, he hits some long, long balls.
Well, he's got to get a hold of a Jeff Bodine pitch here, though. Good stroke, and it's right past Chad Little at shortstop. Sterling Marlin fields it. Here comes Forrest lumbering over to third.
John Forrest has got a bad knee from a high school football injury. He's in a little bit of pain out there.
Well, Forrest stands just 60 feet from another run for NHRA as Frank Hawley comes to the plate. Bodine delivers, and Hawley tags one down the left field line. Sterling Marlin, though, is right there. Marlin had a good eye on that one all the way. That ends the inning, and we'll check into the NASCAR dugout. Glenn with Coach Richter.
You might have found a stopper in Jeff Bodine there. Held him to only 3 runs that inning.
Well, I hope he can hold him to 0 for a while, and we can catch up with him.
So NASCAR will come to bat, now trailing by 6 runs.
Boy, I tell you what, guys, it's hot up here in the stands, and I slipped down and going to get me some of this ice cream, but I have to admit, I broke in line in front of this little guy right here, and I'm just going to give you this one, and I'll get me another one, okay? Mom, I tell you what, He's wanting that ice cream, but y'all enjoying the ball game?
We're really enjoying it. We're big NASCAR fans, so we're really enjoying the ball game.
Well, I tell you what, I hope he enjoys the ice cream. And if NASCAR is going to get busy and win this race, they're going to have to get busy in this thing and win the ball game.
I know. We're pulling for them, but they got a ways to go, don't they?
Yeah, but maybe they can pull it out.
We hope so. We hope so.
Back to you guys.
Well, Neil, these left turn specialists are going to have to make some more left turns around the bases. Jeff Bodine drops one in, and here comes Jimmy Spencer rounding second, heading for third. He's there.
You know, Spencer really moves around those base paths, Mike, with the same reckless abandon he does the racetrack. Mr. Excitement really on the move there.
And Jeff Bodine happy with that single. It brings Ernie Irvin to the plate. Bouncer down the right side. They'll take the force as Spencer stumbles home.
He just gets the job done, whatever it takes. Get down in the dirt and do it, Jimmy.
So Irvin sacrifices Spencer in with a run, bringing NASCAR to within 5. Brett Bodine, leadoff hitter, comes to the plate.
Certainly the NHRA fans are far outnumbered here in the Charlotte area by the NASCAR fans, and they're making a lot of noise now, trying to be that 11th man, get behind their team, be part of this thing.
On third base, Brett's older brother, Jeff. The snake delivers. He got that one down, and it's just kind of looped over home plate. Nobody's got it.
Oh, wow, Prudhomme picked that ball up. Had he let that thing go, it would have spun foul, been a foul ball. Now he gets a guy on base.
That ball had so much backspin on it, it confused everybody. They didn't know which way it was going to go.
They'll score it as an infield single for Brett Bodine. And that puts the Bodine brothers on first and third.
Watch this. Look at the spin. He hit right under that ball. It pops straight up. Now watch when it hits. Watch how it just dives right toward the first base line.
Here comes Jim Head after it. Prudhomme coming in from the mound.
See the ball spinning toward the line there? The Prudhomme probably doesn't know that if he lets that ball go foul, he's got to hit it again.
No, I think that was just, they don't play this game every day.
Derek Cope is the batter, and he's played a lot of baseball in his time. Ropes it to left field. That's a hit. Jeff Bodine comes in to score. Brett holds at second.
The way Don Prudhomme served that ball up, he's lucky he got off that easy.
Here's Glenn in the NASCAR dugout.
Left fielder Sterling Marlin. A little rocky there the first few innings. They were hitting them right at you, but you seem to have gotten it tracked in now.
Yeah, it's a pretty hot spot out there. They knocked him over my head. I didn't think I could hit it that far, so I'm backed up against Spence now to run into him. So we're doing pretty good. If we can get us some hits here and knock them on the ground, we should wax them. Hope so.
2 out, and Dale Jarrett comes to the plate.
And this is a guy Coach Richter is really counting on for the big play tonight. There we see John Forrest, nervous as always.
Brett Bodine on second, Derek Cope at first. NASCAR closing it in. And one of their big guns at the plate. Low pitch, and Jarrett hammers it out to right field. Right into the glove of Freddie Neely.
Do you think Don Prudhomme may be getting just a little bit tired? Let's remember, it would be more comfortable in a sauna than it is down on that field tonight.
NHRA's lead is cut to 4. Welcome back to Charlotte. We've been enjoying the antics of Homer the Dragon. After all, the Charlotte Knights have to have a dragon. He's their mascot and reminds us that all of these efforts are for the Miami Project to Cure Paralysis and the J.D. McDuffie Memorial Fund. There are the addresses and the toll-free number for the Miami Project. They would certainly welcome your donation. Now, the fourth inning of this game was kind of boring. 3 up and 3 down. The fifth was anything but. Watch NASCAR pitcher Jeff Bodine rob Jim Head. Bang. And you're out of here.
That's called having your left hand in the right place at the right time.
In the bottom of the fifth with 1 out and the bases loaded, a bit of controversy. Dale Jarrett is the batter. Ernie Irvin's on third, Brett Bodine on second, and Derek Cope at first. Prudhomme delivers, and Jarrett hits a towering fly toward shortstop. The ball hits the ground, and Irvin scores. Brett Bodine is tagged out at third, but then the umpire calls Jarrett out on the infield fly rule.
The rule is anytime there are runners on first and second with less than 2 outs, a fly ball hit to the infield, the batter is automatically out. The runners can proceed at their own risk.
And that's because the fielder could intentionally drop the ball. That wasn't the case here, and get a double play out of it.
Exactly.
Les Richter came out to argue the call.
I'm going to explain it to you if you listen.
Okay.
The infield is not what you're looking at. The infield is where the infielder is playing. If he plays that deep and it's a routine ball to him, it is an infield fly.
Okay, what if the roving fielder misses that ball?
Poor coach, he's used to making the rules, not following them. Let's get the NHRA reaction.
That's a rule in the rule book. I mean, it's an infield fly. The umpire's judgment, it was an infield fly. The batter is automatically out. The runners can proceed at risk. They elected to run, he's thrown out. There wasn't any question about the call.
We're not dealing with rookie umpires here, I should point out.
No, just rookie coaches. Here's Richter.
A lot of controversy there. You're not too happy with that ruling?
No, he says the infield, his determination of what the infield lines are and what we think they are different. You know, it's a judgment call.
Well, as Richter's fond of saying on Sunday afternoons, it was a ball and strike call. Fortunately for NASCAR, the run counted. And they close back to within 3 runs. In the bottom of the 6th inning, NASCAR again loaded the bases. Sterling Marlin on third, Jimmy Spencer on second, and Jeff Bodine on first.
And it was at this point that Coach Gardner decided to go to his bullpen. As fine a job as Don Prudhomme had done, he was tiring. The arc was out of his pitch, and Prudhomme gave no argument whatsoever. So Coach Gardner brought in the world's fastest funny car driver, 289 mile per hour, Jim White, white glove and all.
So let's rejoin the action in the bottom of the 6th, 2 men out. And NASCAR with the bases loaded. Ernie Irvan at the plate. NASCAR trailing by just 1 run, 13-12. Irvan hits a shot straight through the box. Sterling Marlin will score. Jeff Bodine digs for third as Spencer comes across with the go-ahead run. And listen to this crowd explode. NASCAR takes the lead
for the first time this evening.
Timely piece of hitting by Ernie Irvan there. Hit a hard shot right up the middle. Nobody had a chance to handle that ball.
Irvan at first, Bodine at third. Still 2 out. Derek Cope, the hitter. Strong stroke to left field, but again, Johnson, who's had a great game out in left, makes the put out, and NASCAR goes up by 1.
Dodge announces the new Magnum Series engines. Engines that deliver as much as 44% more power. Here's a simple promise. Overall, today's Dodge trucks, gas and diesel, can deliver more payload, towing, and horsepower than Ford, Chevy, or any import. Dodge trucks, a powerful way to rediscover American value. Now, get up to $1,000 cash back on select Dodge trucks.
Saturday and Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. As the 91 season gets closer and closer to the end, will Harry Gant continue to change the course of racing history? Can Dale Earnhardt keep his points lead from dwindling away? Or will the year come to a screeching halt? It's a wild weekend of live NASCAR racing at the Rock. AC Delco 200, AC Delco 500. Brought to you in part by Haviland Oil and Miller Genuine Draft. Saturday, 2 p.m., Sunday, 12:30 Eastern, live on TNN Motorsports.
Join us here Sunday on the Inside Winston Cup Racing for highlights of the Mellow Yellow 500 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll also meet a young man, David Knupp, who has turned a hobby into a profession in building models.
Inside Winston Cup Racing, Sports Sundays at 11 a.m., 5 and 9 p.m., and again at 12:30 a.m. Eastern on TNN.
They just made the presentation for MVP. Who was your pick, Glenn?
Jeff Bodine. He completely shut them down.
Well, I went with Tommy Johnson. He had a great glove tonight. Let's see who won it.
From Western Auto, the most valuable player award to Sterling Marlin. Right, Mr. Fenimore?
Correct. Sterling, we'd like to congratulate you for an outstanding game. And on behalf of Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store in NASCAR, would like to present you with the most valuable player award for some excellent play in left field tonight. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and along with this, $2,500 from Western Auto to the Miami Project.
It's great. We got to win the game. It ain't over yet. And, hopefully we can do it and come back next year and do it again. I love it.
Remember last year, this is where the worm turned for NHRA at this point.
This is it. We got to do it.
Well, that was a few moments ago. Now we are in the top of the ninth. Last chance for NHRA. 2 men out. Kenny Bernstein on first. And Dallas Gardner talking to his next hitter, Pat Austin.
This game is exactly the opposite of 1 year ago, where NASCAR out-hit NHRA but lost a ball game. It's just the opposite here in Charlotte. It is NHRA that has out-hit NASCAR, but Coach Richter's practices have paid off. They've won it in the field.
The tying run on first. The lead run at the plate. Strike to Austin.
Good pitch by Bodine there. Again, put that thing back in the strike zone. That's a tough pitch to hit, particularly in a pressure situation.
Austin reaches out and sends it into left field. Here comes Bernstein around second. Sterling Marlin's throw is wide, and Austin will go into second with a double.
NHRA certainly in a tough situation, but Coach Gardner has the meat of his order. Next up will be Richard Hartman, who's had a great night, and I'm sure he's getting the same set of instructions that Pat Austin gets. Don't try to kill it, just get the runners around.
Well, what NASCAR needs right now is a pop-up, a fly ball, or a weak ground ball.
Something they can field, absolutely.
Richard Hartman tripled in the third, slide out to left in the fifth.
Another good pitch by Bodine there, back in that strike zone.
Ooh, strike two. And Hartman is way behind, 0-2.
He's put himself in a hole now. He's got to hit the next pitch because he can't afford to take one. It's going to be close.
Ground ball to shortstop. The throw to first. The game is over. NASCAR avenges last year's defeat, 14-13.
And there are guys out on the field who won't even talk to each other at the racetrack who are hugging, celebrating this victory. Unbelievable.
You'd think each of these guys had just won the Daytona 500.
Uh-oh, there is trouble brewing for Coach Richter. 3 drivers who didn't get to play. Terry Labonte, Dave Marcus, and Kenny Schrader take a page from the Pro Football Handbook. Take that, Coach.
Let's have another look at the last play of the game.
Hartman grounds the ball towards shortstop. Dale Jarrett now playing short. He's in as a late-inning defensive replacement. You see the runner scoring there, but Jarrett fields it cleanly, picks it up, and fires a perfect strike to first base. Handily gets the runner, just like I taught him.
Ah, so humble.
Well, I had to take a little credit. I didn't get to play.
Well, if that throw hadn't been on the mark, or if Davey Allison hadn't handled it, we'd have a tie ball game. Look at the concern on the face of Les Richter and Rick Wilson until Davey puts that ball away in his glove, and NASCAR seals the victory.
Coach, you might be all wet, but that team sure wasn't.
Oh, well, they did what they had to. They played for the 1 out. That's all we were hoping for. With the man on third and a man on second, we couldn't rely upon a force out. So it all worked out. We're just playing for 1 out. That's all we wanted. A fly, ball to first base, and the ball to first base, and the guys did well.
Well, it looked a little rocky early on there. You got far behind, but your strategy was just being patient, staying in there, chipping away a little at a time worked.
I said we just had to kind of stay in there, and our guys all got better as the game went on. So we're pleased with them.
You got to be proud of those guys. Congratulations. Also, Coach Dick Beatty, good job, guys.
Well, that's how races are won. Just keep chipping away at them. And ball games, too. NASCAR 14, NHRA 13. Here's Steve.
It was a great game, Coach. Just 1 run short. Now you know how those guys fell last year.
Great. Yeah, it was a great game. It was a good ball game. It was great for the fans. And, I'm disappointed. I know our guys are disappointed because we thought we were going to put them away. I said earlier it's a 9-inning game. And I would tell you the NASCAR guys played great ball. They started to rally defensively, and they shut us out the last part of the ball game. They won the game. They deserve it.
See you next year?
Wait till next year.
NASCAR wins this round to even the series at 1 apiece. But the real winners are the 2 charities tonight. The Miami Project to Cure Paralysis. Call 1-800-STAND-UP or send your donation to Miami, Florida. And the J.D. McDuffie Memorial Fund, 3612 Baker Drive, Sanford, North Carolina. Both of these worthy causes would welcome your donation. Join TNN, Western Auto, and all of the great athletes and folks who donated their time and effort this evening. For Glenn Jarrett, Steve Evans, and Neil Bonnet, I'm Mike Joy. Coverage of the 2nd Annual All-Stars of Speed, NHRA versus NASCAR, has been a presentation of Diamond P Sports.